flour, very simple. We can make a huge amount of things with flour. So what I'm going to start off doing is put some flour, probably a couple of handfuls in here to start off with. Now, if we've been transporting flour a lot, flour will settle. So what we want to do is get a bit of air. I don't know if anyone has any chefs or cooks here, but normally you could sieve the flour to get some air into it. We don't carry sieves with us when we're out on the wilderness trip. So all I'm literally going to do is just run my hands through it and get some air back into the mixture. This is just going to help it rise. And that's it, give it a little bit of air. Now, also a good thing to carry on little trips or wilderness trips, little bits of herbs and spices as well. Plain flour breads, they're alright. If you've got a little bit of extra something to go in with it, it does make a nice difference. So this is a bit of garam masala, but you could put chilies in it, you could put thyme, oregano, any dried things. So just a bit in. Olive oil, another thing that you might take out on the trip. And then all we do then is add clean water, so water that is already drinkable. Do not use dirty water, as I mean straight out of a lake or straight out of a stream. By putting dirty water in this and then cook it, that will not purify your water. So it must be clean drinking water first of all before you put it in. I'm going to add a little bit first of all and then mix it in. It's a lot easier to keep adding little bits of water in, difficult to take water back out of something like this. And I'm looking for just a dough. And you know when the dough is about right, because now the inside of the pot is clean. I've managed to get all of it just here. I'm just going to knead that together a little bit. Again, if we're out on any trips as well, I've got Dutch ovens and I've got frying pans here as well, but you might not have room, you might not have them with you. So what we can now use is the actual billy can as our own little oven. Basically we can put this on here. I'm going to have to do it there so I can see what I'm doing. Try and do it this way around. Let that warm up. We can use that as our own little oven. You then take a pinch of this, and what we want to do is we want to make this as flat as possible. The flatter it is, the quicker it's going to cook. Doesn't matter if you've got a little bit of dirt on it, all that's the flavour of it. So all I'm doing is I'm just manipulating it between my fingers and getting it as thin as I possibly can. Now it's the same as when you're doing pancakes or anything like that. The first one's always the chef's, because that's the one that's going to be a bit burnt. Once that gets to a nice cooking temperature, number 3, number 4, they're coming out an absolute treat. And you can literally just pop them straight in there. Like I say, it all depends then on the temperature of this as how quick is going to cook. And use that one, cooking it, that's better because it's actually keeping the heat inside there. And they don't take all that long to do. That's hot. I'm going to let that one cook. So that's a nice, quick, easy little flatbread to do. It's not bad actually. It's alright. Put it in there, mate.
Really?
Yeah, have a go.
I did it.
Spoon there. Right. So while you're cooking that,
yeah,
I'm going to show you now how to do a little bit more time consuming this one, but a bannock mix. So we don't have any measuring implements when we're out, not like we have in our home kitchens. So I'm going to do 3 handfuls of flour. 1, 2, 3. Bit of extra leaf in there. Aerate the flour again a little bit. Milk powder. This time I'm going to put 2 handfuls in. 1, 2. And then the last one is baking powder. Now you're not going to put a handful of baking powder in. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon, about that much baking powder in. Again, all dry ingredients, give them a mix together. Now you can just have it plain like this, or you can put some dried fruit in it. I've got some sultanas behind me as well. Or you can even make savoury ones of these as well if you want to. But once you've actually got this basic recipe, it's a matter of just adding to whatever flavours you want. Again, clean drinking water. Now this, you don't want this as doughy as that. It wants to be just so it holds together. So again, just add a little bit. Good tip here as well, just use one hand, keep one hand clean and just mix with the other. How are they coming along, Connor?
Good.
Yeah?
I ate one.
You ate one, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a load more in.
Come on, there's 20 hungry people here, all that are relying on it. This is dinner, by the way. Delia Smith, eat your heart out. Again,
what was that?
What was that? The reason I'm called Spoons is not because I'm like cooking, it's because I like to snuggle up to people of a night time. A little bit of spooning going on there.
How's it going, Connor?
It's good. Would you like one?
So top tip, if you do
it's a
want
bit hot, like really
this
hot.
off your hands, just get another bit of flour. Make a real mess everywhere. And this is exactly what when you do in bear country, so you get the maximum amount of smell everywhere, because bears hate this kind of smell. From the billy cans, I'm just going to use a bowl, but best tip first of all is get this on the fire and get this warm before you put the Bannock mix into it. A little bit of flour in the bottom, just stops it sticking. You want this quite thin. If it's too thick, it won't cook all the way through. It will take a long time to cook all the way through. Now what we want to do, I'm going to put this in front of the fire. Now we want this as vertical as possible. So then from the heat of the fire is going to cook it evenly. Exaggerated, you don't want it down like that. If it does slip, keep slipping away from the bottom, you can always get a little stick, just put it in the bottom there to stop this falling away. Now how close to the fire do you need it? Well, obviously if it's too far away it's going to take ages to cook. Too close to it, it's going to cook too quickly. So we go for a general rule of about 5 seconds that I can hold my hand here. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have to take my hand away, that's a good cooking heat. If I'm 6, 7, 8, it's not hot enough. If I'm 1, 2, all it's going to do is burn it. And that's a really good rule of thumb for any cooking that you're doing. Chicken that you spatchcocked or a leg of lamb or something, you generally want about 5 seconds away from it that you can hold your hand.
What was that again?
Keep missing all the good. I'm not saying it again because no one's going to chuckle. No one chuckles anyway.
Can you put the laughter on over the top?
Yeah, simply laugh.
So you're going to Canada then?
Yeah, I'm going to come to Canada. Yeah, show you like how to do it. Yeah.
we do two different things. We put powdered milk in it at times, and also rum halfway through.
Yes, yeah.
Rum really makes a huge difference.
That was powdered milk that I put in it. That is powdered milk.
Is it? Sorry, I missed that part.
Is that what you fell asleep?
Should we do the whole lot again? Should we start again?
That's the 3 things you're talking about?
Yeah, the 3, 2, 1. So 3 handfuls of flour, 2 handfuls of milk powder,
yeah,
and then 1 of baking powder. But it's not 1 handful, it's 1 teaspoon. 3, 2, 1 Bannock.
Sorry, it must have been the accent.
Can't understand you. Say that again.
Oh.
Cooking bread, anybody cook bread or anything?
What was that?
When you going back? I can drop you off now at the airport. No problem. So that is going to take as well Depends on how hot the fire is, depends on the wind conditions as well, but I would say at least probably half an hour it's going to take to cook. That is. Absolutely useless. All the videos that
All I got out of this course is just how they don't like Canadians. That's what I'm saying.
It's not we don't like Canadians, it's just you.